Hey yogis, it's Mira here, and today I'm going to show you the right way to move through Chaturanga Vinyasa. And I know that's a really bold statement, and there are sure to be Ashtangis out there who are going to say, I've been practicing yoga for 20 years and I know what I'm doing, I know how to go through Chaturanga Vinyasa, and that's totally fine. But what I'm going to show you today is something that I notice, especially when I meet new students. I travel a lot, I teach workshops in different places, and most of the time I have students that I've never met before. And so this is something that I see kind of as a trend in Vinyasa classes that isn't necessarily addressed. And I personally never learned Chaturanga Vinyasa in this way until I started practicing with Shiva Ray. And when we do our teacher training with Shiva, this is like one of the first things that we do. And for her, it's just so important that she will stop a whole class to be like, okay, this is Chaturanga Vinyasa tutorial. Anyway, I find it to be a great way to move through a Vinyasa practice in a sustainable way that's healthy long-term on the joints, and also a great teaching tool and a great personal teaching for bringing yoga into your life off the mat, and I'll explain that in a little bit. So anyway, I'm going to first show you some ways that I'm seeing Chaturanga Vinyasa when I meet new people. And so the first thing I'm going to do is show you the things that we want to avoid while going through Vinyasa. So, say for example, we're just coming down from crescent pose or something, right? Just placing my hands down. And then, in some Vinyasa practices, this is what we do, is we go through down dog first, and then plank. And that's one way to do it. In prana flow, we always just go straight to plank. And this is a great way to activate the core. So we lift up here and go straight into plank. So the whole body is already in plank, except for this leg. So this is the only thing that needs to move. So we don't lift up the hips and then come into plank. We're in plank already. We just go into plank. Okay? So some things that we see when we meet new students is missing the Chaturanga, right? We go from plank, Chaturanga, up dog. But a lot of times we just see this like fluid thing that just kind of dips down and comes back up. So I'll show you again. So we see this, and then somehow they make it up to up dog. But if I take that into slow motion, what are we seeing? So we're seeing the hips coming up, so no activation in the belly. Now watch my shoulders. I'm diving, and then look, right here. Let me come up. Here's my posture, right? Shoulders are totally forward. So that means that this is my posture, right? And no one walks around like this. We keep it back, right? Also, the joints are not intended to bear weight. But when we slide down and we let the shoulders go down below the elbow, the weight is on the shoulders. And that is a non-sustainable way to go through your yoga practice. You're not going to last long. Your shoulders are not going to last long that way. All right? So again, here's what we don't want to do. Shoulders going down first, butt in the air, like this, okay? Don't want to do that. Also, the three-legged Chaturanga Vinyasa, also not a good idea. Shiva calls it the kamikaze Chaturanga. And this is when people are trying to be fancy and advanced and think it's smart to come down like this and then come up. Well, the balance is totally off coming down in Chaturanga, right? Your shoulders totally go down below your elbows. This is like unsafe. right? Okay. So, if we're not doing those movements, what exactly are we doing? We want to think of having 3 asanas, 3 postures. We have plank, chaturanga, up dog, right? So, we come into plank, plank. Find your plank. You've got to activate the belly, right? Find your plank. You look forward, and then you only go as far as, you can look with your eyes. I'm going to pause here so I can stop. Your shoulder and your elbow are at the same level. In other words, your upper arm is parallel to the floor. You don't go any lower with your shoulders, because then your weight is going to be in your shoulder, right? Good. So, what does that mean? Where is the weight bearing? What is holding you up? It's your tricep. And a lot of us don't use our triceps. In real life, we don't use our triceps all that much unless we carry our groceries like this, which most of us don't do, right? So here we find plank. We go down, we activate the belly so we're not sagging in the middle as we go down. We're not lifting our butt too high. And we look with our eyes. And then, from there, we just push straight up to up dog. And then down dog. Alright? So you want to think plank, chaturanga, up dog, and then back to down dog. So not the flowing one. So in prana flow, we think, oh, it's flowing, everything just flows. Well, there is a sense of flow, but inside that flow, there's definitely a deeper structure, right? And we all know the structure within us. Our body knows it. Our body knows smart architecture, right? So again, we're avoiding this thing, right? We're also avoiding 3-legged kamikaze. And what we want to practice is plank, chaturanga, look with your eyes, up dog, down dog. So before you get to the point where you can come down in full chaturanga, you can always practice in half plank. So we would go here, plank, place the knees down, and find plank, find the line from the crown of the head to the knees, right? So again, not sagging, not butt in the air, activate the belly, and practice pausing, checking with your eyes, and then cobra or up dog from there. So you can practice half plank to get that tricep strength. Also, so the lesson, the real teaching of this, and this is something that I loved that Shiva said that really has stuck with me all these years, is that Chaturanga is your friend, it's your master. Meaning that when you come down into Chaturanga, we look forward. So we don't come into Chaturanga with our head down. First of all, our head is really heavy, so we'll just have this like forward weight just hanging. We come into Chaturanga, we look forward, and we look the tiger in the eye. So imagine that you've got a tiger staring right at you, right? And this tiger is like your mirror of yourself. So this asana, this posture, Chaturanga, is there to give you the state of the union of your whole being. So where is your strength? Where is your core strength? Where's your arm strength? Where are you in your focus and concentration? Chaturanga will tell you immediately, if you go into it with awareness, where you are. And you don't always have to go into full Chaturanga. Sometimes you go down into Chaturanga and your tiger will tell you, it's not happening today. So you put your knees down, right? But if we go through this kamikaze thing, we never have that pause to stop and check things out. Stop and check out what's going on in our lives. So that's a teaching, too, right? Having our yoga practice carrying it over to off the mat is, you know, we're going through life and things are happening, and so often we just let it happen and we just go with the flow. But we also need to take time to find those life moments like Chaturanga, to stop and be like, okay, what is going on with me? What is going on with this or that, or like, tell me the truth here. So Chaturanga is like a good friend. Your good friend will tell you, you know, if your job isn't right for you, or if your relationship is kind of off, or that outfit doesn't look good on you, or whatever, right? That's a real friend. He'll tell you, maybe not today. So let's practice Chaturanga in this very sustainable way. So coming down, checking out that the tops of your arms are parallel to the ground. You're taking a moment to check out the mirror or look the tiger in the eye and see how that transforms your practice. And let me know how it goes. Thanks so much. Namaste.